better if you're hungry for the word. You'll be fed, you'll be encouraged. You won't leave just like you came. Welcome to the Smart Show. 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 This is where we reason together, a place where you can feel much better. If you're hungry for the word, you'll be fed, you'll be encouraged. You won't leave just like you came. Welcome to the Smart Show. 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 Be at peace and not in pieces. 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 Welcome to the Smart Show. Welcome to the Smart Show. You are listening to yours truly, Pastor Nate. It is my absolute pleasure that I can come again on this Tuesday night to speak with you live this time. This is not a morning nugget. This is not a song, an upload. This is me live tonight. So thank you all for coming in. Y'all come on in, share the video. Bright Star, see you. God bless you. Just when you came in early, cousin's not going to be here tonight. She just texted me, let me know she had something going on. We'll keep her in prayer. But y'all come on, drop down from the bushes. It's safe over here. We're going to talk about an interesting subject tonight. I'm not going to use the sword. I got it in my hand, but I'm not using the sword tonight. No heat, no judgment. Let's talk about it. And I want to thank you all who support the channel. Various content creators have come through this week, sharing the video, liking and comment. I appreciate all of your support. The people who are in here tonight, people in bushes, the people who will watch the replay, thanks. All the support that I can get, Pastor Nate certainly appreciates it. We're going to go ahead and move on with our topic tonight because it's 8:03, and y'all know I like to respect your time. I like to try to keep it at an hour. The topic is, I can't help it. I just hate them. I can't stand them. I hate their guts. Lord, I tried, I prayed, and I want to be the Christian and the believer that you're calling in these last and evil days. And I'm trying to do the right thing, but some people is just too hard to love. They're hard to love. So since they want me to hate them, since they want that energy, I hate them. Pastor Nate, you hate somebody? That's why you need to listen. Ah, my gosh. Let's talk about it. Again, thank you for coming into the Smart Show. The topic tonight is, I can't help it. I hate it. And if you would like to support this ministry financially, you'll see the cash app there. You know it's not required. We don't beg over here. And I want to thank you all who've been giving cash apps throughout the week. Thank you. Thank you, Bright Star, for helping promote the channel. Zillz, I see you. God bless you. I hope everyone had a great weekend. Let's get into it. If you at a point where you hate a person, it is typically not an overnight event. In some instances, you tried to show kindness, and the other person just continued to be disrespectful and hateful. You're just at your wits' end. You don't know what else to do. You tried to love, and they didn't accept it. Every time you bent over backwards and you did something nice, they always had the tendency of handing you their butt, and you're just fed up with them doing that. You're just fed up with them taking advantage of your kindness and your niceness. Am I talking to somebody already? And moving right along. However, there are some instances, on the other hand, where it was an all of a sudden event. You just found out that the person that you loved and thought loved you, person that you loved and trusted all these years, for example, was the one who set you up. That very same person, we going back to the Judas situation, that very same person was the one who framed you, and that's why you spent 10 years in prison, but you didn't know. And the funny thing about it, while you were in prison, the loved one or the person that you thought loved you, the one that set you up, came to visit you. Out of anybody, they put money on your books, of course out of guilt, because they know they set you up. You didn't know it though, but you found out later who was the real devil. A lot of times we are sleeping with the enemy. A lot of times we got the devil, the enemy, in our territory, in our homes, in our friendships, around our children. Come on, y'all. Open up your eyes. Open up your eyes. So it seems like, from what I'm describing, from the natural aspect of things, I have a good reason to hate, right? It would appear that way. But how many of you know that God still requires us to love our enemy? God bless you, Stephanie. God bless you. God bless you. The ones who are coming in, y'all come on in. We're talking about it tonight. I can't help it. I just hate them now. They pushed me to the end. I've tried to love. I have no more love, no more patience for this person. I have nothing but hate right now. I'm talking to somebody. We just being real tonight. Some of y'all feel like that right now. But God's got some deliverance for us. God got some help. That's why we tackle these controversial. That's why we tackle these hard subjects, so we could be helped, because the church is afraid to talk about it. We like to cover it up. We like to worship over it, but we don't talk about the real problem. We talk about things that sound good and look good, but we don't talk about the real problem. But that's what we want to do on the Smart Show, because there are real life issues out there that all of us are dealing with on a daily basis. Powering up my hatred. Oh no, don't power up the hatred. I'm trying to help tonight. Yeah, hate. So hate is an intense or passionate dislike for someone. Yeah. It's a strong feeling, of strong negative feeling that you have towards someone else. You have disdain. Whenever you think of this person, they put a bad taste in your mouth. You normally can feel this disdain and disgust from others around you. Sometimes people don't have to say anything. We're in a generation right now where people are vibing off people, and you don't have to open up your mouth. I can tell if you don't like me. I can tell the way you look at me and how you act, and your gestures, and the way you smile at other people. When I come around, your countenance just changed. Somebody know what I'm talking about out there. Maybe you were a guilty person who did that to somebody else for whatever reason or another. Maybe somebody's doing that to you. But yeah, you can tell when people around you are in a negative or in a hatred environment. You can feel it. In a group of people, you may witness a person who speaks to everyone else, but went and smiled to everyone else. But when it comes down to you, it's just like speaking was the most difficult thing in the world. It was like they had to force it to get out. Everybody else was like, hey, how you doing? God bless you. What's up, man? How you doing, girl? Y'all know how we do. But when it comes down to you, hey, what's up? It's just very difficult. So I can tell that this person has an issue with me. They celebrate and rejoice with everyone else, but when it comes to you, they'll say something like this: I've seen better, I've heard better. It's just a car, it's just a normal car. But when somebody else, whether it's a Kia or Toyota Corolla or Ford Pinto, God bless you. You know what, girl, you doing it up. That's a blessing. They just rejoice and they celebrate. But you could have a Rolls Royce, you can have a Bentley, and when it comes down to you, they don't give that same celebratory energy that they gave to somebody else. When it comes to you, they'll be like, yeah, it's all right. We're talking about hate tonight. So a lot of people are hating out there. Yeah, we hear that all the time, but we're talking about it tonight. We're going to dig down to the nitty gritty. You notice this behavior, but you try with all your might to be kind, to be cordial. Y'all, some of y'all are sick and tired of being nice when you're constantly being mistreated, when you're constantly being walked over, when you're constantly being discredited and torn down and made to feel like the scum of the earth by this other person who's hating you. And you trying your hardest to do what God has called you to do, and that's love the person. But it's so hard to love them. Ah. So eventually you just straight out and ask, do you not like me? God bless you, Romans 8. Do you have a problem with me? What have I done to you? Have you ever asked someone like that you felt that, at some period, at quite some time, that they hated you? Every time you were in their presence, it was always something. You felt negative energy. And all of a sudden you just started asking, hey, do you have a problem with me? Do you not like me? What have I done to you? What's the problem? And sometimes their response involves something that took place a couple years ago that you thought was squashed. A lot of people still hold on to stuff. Yeah, I did that, but I thought we talked about that. I apologize for that. Why are you trying me for the same case twice? God doesn't involve himself in double jeopardy. Yeah. So some people still internalize things, even though you said you were sorry, they apologize, but they still go on as like you guys didn't talk about it. We got a lot of people out there, and I've seen this behavior on YouTube where people are like, hey, we talked about this, so why they bringing that up again? A lot of people can't process that hate. They let it stay there, and it's not healthy for you. Sometimes their response involves no legitimate reason. Maybe they're just strictly jealous of you. You got it going on. You got, the wife, the children, or what have you. You got a nice car. I know it's material. You got a nice job, making money. You put in a lot of work to get where you are. You went to school. You did what you're supposed to do. You're a responsible citizen. They failed to be responsible. They chose another path, whether it might be alcohol or drugs or whatever the case may be. They got themselves together eventually, getting started, and you've been doing what you're supposed to do. Well, quite naturally, you're well ahead. Maybe they're jealous of you because you're moving on in your life. And this is not only the outsiders, but a lot of this behavior goes on in our family and our close friends. That's why you got to be and it kind of goes to what I talked about last week. I talked about not giving the wrong person access. Sometimes you cannot be friends with everybody when God is blessing you. When you're on a path that is taking you to astronomical levels, it's hard to be friends with people who don't want to go, because eventually it's going to be an issue in some cases. Somebody might be experiencing that right now. I know I'm talking to somebody. Come on. Sometimes their response could be something like, it could be that you've done something in the past. You've said something and they just can't let it go. I don't know about you, but if you come to me and you said, I'm sorry, we're going to talk about it as squash. I won't bring it up again. That's just it. That settles that. The buck stops there. But you got some people go on and on. Let's see what you're saying here. Let me read your comments. It's a pleasure having you here. Yes, it is a pleasure. Whoever's here. Being black, tall, and handsome brings a lot of yeah. Just because God created the way you are. If you're a woman, you got nice curves and you all nicely firm up there and you got nice skin, nice hair. People hate you just because of God created the way you are. And you can't even help that. If you're a tall, handsome man and you got it going on, you can't help the way you look, but you got people hating you because of who you are. Well, I come to encourage you tonight. Don't stop being who you are. God's got somebody who can celebrate who you are with you. Oh, my God, help me. Stephanie say true. Yes. And what it does to us sometimes, and I was guilty of this. I don't want to sound condescending, because I'm not. But sometimes when you're in no situation where you feel like your environment, people in your environment will hate you or will not like you because of your success, you'll try to downplay yourself and you'll try to, so to speak, dummy down in conversation so you won't sound so intelligent, because being smart and being great around people who are not willing to be great is intimidating to people. Anybody know what I'm talking about? Oh, Lord. I'm gonna get in trouble already. Uh, if you're around an insecure person that's not willing to go anywhere, and you're in that environment, you'll find yourself discounting or downplaying what God has blessed you with in order to satisfy. Oh, y'all hear me tonight. I know I'm telling the truth. In order to satisfy and appease the other person. Somebody say, been there. But how many know God don't want you to do that? Because they got the same opportunity as you. You know, they can put in the work and work hard and be obedient and operate in the will of God and get what God has for them. But how many know some people don't want to do better? Some people like bondage. You might need to cut that loose. Because my idea is, let me share what God has done for me with you so I can help you come up. And I ain't got to make you feel bad about it. I can help you, I can do for you, and you can still have your dignity. Because that's what God has called us to do. But you got some people who have an issue with that. Now, hate is a strong word. In fact, it was so strong that as a child, we couldn't use it. Have your mom, your dad, your grandma say, hey, don't use that word hate. Use another word. Yeah, so we couldn't even use the word hate growing up. The zillz says, I like edging them on. You like to instigate them. Maybe, they need that. Maybe that'll make them, maybe that will propel them to some level of destiny. I don't know. Maybe I should try that. I don't want to torture anyone though. But hate is a strong word. We couldn't even use it as a child. And the training I received as a child makes me feel so weird, even today as an adult, if I use the word hate. And it's not even toward other people. It's just toward things that I don't like. But if I use the word hate, like I hate onions, I do hate onions. I might say I hate onions. That kind of feels weird because I can hear my grandmother's voice say, boy, don't use that word. So now what I do is I refrain it. And I say, I'm not too fond of onions, or I don't care for onions. How many the Holy Spirit will teach you how to refrain and frame your words, rather, so to speak. Instead of saying, I hate the summers, because I do out here in Texas, it gets so hot. It's like an oven out here. Instead of saying, I hate the summers, I may say, well, I'm not too fond of the summers, because sometimes I feel like if I use hate, I'm kind of complaining. I don't want to complain. But yeah. We were told not to use that word when we were growing up, although it means the same thing, but I'll refrain it by saying I really don't care for. Y'all know how they teach you at work, use emotional intelligence, reframe it, say it another way, be a little more euphoric so you won't sound so hateful. Because when you use hate all the time, then you kind of have a tendency, we were taught to, you kind of have a tendency of displaying an angry black man or an angry woman, right? And we don't want to come off like that, because many people think we're angry anyway. We're just very passionate people. The black race is very passionate in how they talk and how they speak. And if we're not careful, other cultures might misconstrue that as being hateful. Now, I laid a foundation and introduction, and I'll drop the link if anybody wants to come up here. And if we don't get through this tonight, we are going to continue this next week. Thank you for coming in, all of you. God bless you. We're talking about, I just can't help it. I hate them. And we're going to get down to the meat of it. That was my intro. Now, in the Bible, the word hate was used on several occasions, but the meaning was very subjective, okay, depending on the circumstance. Sometimes it meant that I just totally hate you. Sometimes it meant that I just want to reject you. But let's see what the Bible says about it. Amos 5:21, it says, I despise your religious festivals, your assemblies are a stench to me. Now, this is God speaking through the prophet. The prophet's telling the people what God is saying, because the people were worshiping idol gods and living an immoral lifestyle. And we know, those of you who read the Bible, read the Old Testament, okay. Hey, what's going on?
What up?
What up? We know how God felt about an immoral and an ungodly lifestyle of idol worship. So, in other words, God is not so much hating you, but he hates the lifestyle. He rejects it. Because you hear a lot of people in Washington, God hates gays, God hates liars, or whatever. God does not hate the person, he hates the activity. Have anything you want to say on that?
I mean, no. I mean, I totally agree with all that.
Yeah. So, and we're gonna get down as to why. It's a very interesting live and as to why I chose this. I was talking to a YouTuber the other day, and I asked him if I could use this content. We're gonna get into. I'm gonna let you hear what he said. So if God didn't like Israel's lifestyle, and zilz, on many occasions you read through the law where the Israelites were stiff-necked at different times,
Oh
and
yeah,
how God responded to that.
he was very salty. He was very disappointed and hurt and vengeful.
He was. And and I guess the hate in that instance would be like considered the wrath of God, because he did,
I
was
think there was I I think it was more of a punishment towards the disrespect that they showed to him.
hmm
It was like, dag, I did all of this for you, and here you go disrespecting me again. So
yeah,
y'all got to get these hands
yeah, yeah. Accountability. You pay for what you do, right?
right.
Yeah. So Malachi 1, 2, and 3, it says, and a lot of people look at this scripture and say, God hated Esau and he loved Jacob. Well, the scripture did say that, but what does it mean? Malachi 1, 2, and 3 say, yet I have loved Jacob. You remember Jacob and Esau. And
Right.
I don't think you got to that yet in your study in the Old Testament, but they were both in the womb. And they, one held on to the other's heel. And,
Right.
later on, he tricked his father of the birthright and everything. But, anyways, God said, I have loved Jacob, but Esau I've hated. Now, the reason why God said that, because Jacob represented the nation of Israel.
Israel.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And Esau represented the nation of Edom. And of course, Israel had its issues too, but Edom really had its issues. So God destroyed Edom as a result of the people's sin with the idol worship and idolatry and all that stuff. We know how God feels about that. If you want to see the wrath of God, you start idol worship, and
Right.
you'll see your life get jacked up. I ain't gonna even try to go to. I'm gonna take the Old Testament word for that. I'm not gonna play around with that.
Right.
So God did not literally have hatred for Esau from an emotional standpoint, but rather he had a disdain for
For
the
the
sin.
for the nation.
Yes, yes. Which is why he rejected Esau. So my question to you, chat, those of you who listen, does God like your lifestyle? Think about it. Let it reflect. Does he hate your lifestyle? Because many of us go on think we're pleasing God, but are we really pleasing God?
I mean, some of the stuff I'm doing, I know he'd be like, man, come on now. You gotta stop all that. You be doing a little bit too much. But look, let's be for real though. God was very strict. All those laws he gave to the Israelites,
Mhm.
he didn't. He really was really strict about them. And you look at what he did with Moses.
Yeah,
Moses followed him faithfully since after he killed that guy, right?
yeah,
And then that one time he didn't defend God against the Israelites who were acting up. He told Moses, "Hey, you're not gonna see the promised land across Jericho. I mean, not Jericho, across the Jordan.
Lord, right.
So like with God, there's very margin for error, very small margin for error.
It is. It was. I say it was because now that was my next point. Thank God Jesus came by, and we're
Right,
living under grace. He died, and he's on the right hand of the Father, so to speak, being an attorney for us, an intercessor. On our behalf, saying, God, if God had any intentions on destroying us, we got somebody to bat for us, the grace and mercy, so to speak, and that's symbolic of God's grace and mercy. Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I wrestle with that still, but yeah, I agree.
Well, yeah, I mean, just think Jesus is like the middleman. We take him out, we'll probably see more of what Israel saw in the Old Testament as it pertains to the wrath of God. Because
Yeah,
this world as a whole is not pleasing God. I mean, just look around you in the scope of what we operate on YouTube in our daily lives. Look how people are.
I mean, it was pretty much doomed from the start. If you're gonna go by God's eyes, it was doomed from the start.
Yeah.
So, you know,
So yeah, so we thank God for the grace we have right now, because we would really be in trouble.
I don't know. It's kind of hard for me to accept, because like it's the way the man is explained is, y'all deserve death, y'all deserve to be destroyed. It's like out the womb you would you would you were doomed from the start. So like, what's the point? What is the point? You know what I mean? And if all it takes is one mistake to not please God, if Jesus died when Jesus died on the cross or the stake, depends how you look at it. And but like, like when I was doing my studies with other pastors and whatnot, I have made them uh try to convince me that Jesus' death was a real death, because he has existed forever, because he's the Son of God, because he's all of this and all of that, because his blood is worth more than every man that ever lived combined. You know what I'm saying? Like, is his death real? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Because like, he can resurrect and come back. Like, is it really worth anything? You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
yeah. I
So
get you.
I mean, that's a whole different subject. But I'm just saying, it's like, if you're already doomed from the start, and then Jesus, who can regenerate, resurrect, come back and forth between realms, was here in the beginning, gonna be here forever, and prophesies to rule forever. I mean, like, is it real? You know what I'm saying? That
Yeah,
was it really worth anything? You know what I'm saying? I,
yeah.
I know that was hard, but
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Are we doomed from the birth? But it again, if Adam and Eve would have made the decision that God wanted them to make, then we probably wouldn't be dealing with this. Because sin affects not only you, but your environment and your offspring. Unfortunately, the scripture said down to the third and fourth generation. So we have innocent children being born because of their moms, their ancestors, their forefathers' sin. They're affected. And I know that's not fair. I mean, look what happened when God destroyed something, when he wiped out a whole everything. So I mean, is everybody sinning in that environment? He killed everything off.
he killed a lot. He
Yeah,
killed a lot for just the thought of anything.
right.
You know
So yeah, so he was a little more he was a little rough than his son Jesus. Come on down here, son, and die, because
exactly.
I don't have the patience for this. We need somebody who is good with stiff necked people.
And look, God was gruesome with it too. Like, when he turned
Yeah.
Lot's wife into salt, when he opened up the
Oh
ground
yeah,
to
the
swallow up a
ground.
whole generation of Israelites, it was rough. It was
I'm saying
really
it was
rough.
it was rough under God's jurisdiction.
Yeah.
We wouldn't made the cut, especially the law. I'm glad that Jesus came to and rent the veil from top to bottom.
Let fire jump out and kill what's one called sons, Aaron's sons. I mean, come
Yeah,
on, God was rough.
yeah,
I
yeah.
wouldn't want to deal with that.
He was rough. He was rough. But I guarantee you, if we go back to maybe, I don't know, 25% of what God did, I guarantee some of us will get some act right.
If I think if some of that befell some of us, I no, if some of that actually befell us when we did dirt,
Mhm.
it'll be a lot of act right, especially like how Jezebel died. You know,
Oh yeah, it fell out the window and the
uh,
dog. Yeah,
oh, come on now. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on,
yeah,
that's terrible. That's horrible. That is
yeah,
horrible. And
yeah.
look, that was prophesized. That's crazy. I don't want that to happen.
Yep, it was. So, what really spurred this conversation about hate tonight? I think it's something we need to talk about, especially the church. And I spoke with Larry yesterday. Larry Nelson. I don't know if you know Larry Nelson.
Yeah, that's my boy.
Okay, I told him about you. He didn't remember if you. Yeah, so I
He
think I
came
saw
to
you.
my channel a couple times.
Right, he didn't, and you may have been in his a couple times, right? Or
Yeah.
okay, but anyways, I reached out to Larry and I told him I would talk about this. We don't tear people down. So he said, go ahead and do it. In fact, he wanted me to talk about it more in detail. I'm like, no, I ain't gonna put it out there like that. I'm just gonna talk about it because it can be spoken to a wider audience. He has hate for Vonnie Vaughn. You've heard him say this many times on his video, and Jay Wilson. Okay. And he's from the church, but he admitted on his previous live that he hates them and he despises them. Very open and honest. Now, I have a great opinion about that, although I don't condone hate, but I respect him because he's able to tell us where he is with that. And then he requested prayer. If we had a lot of people in the church to really tell us how we feel, how we really feel, then, maybe we can get help and move toward progress. But we try to go to church over those negative feelings and worship and speak in tongues. You know what I'm saying? We try to dress it up.
Right.
And God really don't want to accept you like that, because you're not your best when you weigh down with so much jealousy and hatred and unforgiveness. Now we come to him so he can help us and help us get rid of that stuff. But so many people harbor that, and they think if I go to church, I'm okay.
No,
Yeah,
that's just the building. You just bringing hate into the church.
exactly. There you go. So I really commend Larry Nelson for saying that. Now I'm not gonna get in the beat, between him and Vaughn and him and Jay Wilson. That's been going on for a long time. We talked at length last night about this, and I told him what I'll be doing. I want you to hear what he's saying, and we're gonna talk about this further. Now, this is a person from the church. All right, here we go.
Keep me in your prayers, because my heart is full of hatred. My heart is full of hatred. Okay? I despise little 51-year-old punk. But I hate Vonnie. I hate her guts. I hate her. Call my job to get me fired.
Woo. Pretty strong, huh?
Hey, I understand that though. Like, if somebody affects, especially when somebody messes with your money and your livelihood from the point of I'm a stranger on the internet, yeah, I can understand that. I can understand why he would feel that way. He has every right to feel that way.
Right. From the natural side of things, you're right. But the reason why I reached out to Larry when he made that video, because he said, I need prayer. And when a pastor, when you round somebody who's like, you see that, you get on that. You know what I'm saying? This brother's crying out. This brother needs help. Let me reach out and see what I can do. I'm not Jesus, but how can I support you through this and pray for you so you can get rid of that? Because, you're from the church, you're raised in the church, and I'm sure he doesn't want to feel that way, but he was pushed to that limit. Right. Now, why he hates Jay Wilson so bad, he kind of, I don't know why the energy is so strong for him, but for Vonnie Vaughn, I can understand if she called and got him fired. That's what he said. You heard it.
Right.
So, hey, Sister Rita, God bless you. So, yeah, so you can understand that. So how do you feel like God views that? Is that justification for hating someone?
I guess for God, I don't know, because God waged war against people, but that was at God's behest. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't want man to be like that. He wants man to love one another. Jesus too want man to love one another. However, I have this position where it's like the only way. I don't hate people. You know what I'm saying? Like there's no one I hate. You know what I'm saying? That's a very strong emotion. To me, that says more about me rather than what somebody did to me. You know what I mean? That means somebody has some sort of control over my emotions.
There
I
you go.
hate that.
There you go.
And I hate that. I don't let anybody have control over my emotions now. If I feel strongly about it, I'll have something to say, and I'll keep bringing it up. You know what I'm saying? Just to get a reaction. You know what I mean? But
yeah,
if somebody did something that I don't care about it, I don't even put nothing to it. You know what I'm saying? But I don't hate anybody. Now, for me,
let me stop you right there. I remember you had a little scuffle or whatever with the King of Sir. Did you not hate him?
No, I do not hate Sir King. It's just that
you were pretty strong. Okay.
Yeah, but I have things I have to say to him, because the way he behaved, I just find that less than honorable.
But that's good. You don't hate anyone. That's good.
No, I don't know him. You know what I'm saying? I feel like for me to know something, for me to have hate for somebody, I have a hierarchy of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mm-hmm.
he could never be on a point where I hate him, because I know some people who done much, 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 much worse, and I don't even hate them. You know what I'm saying? So I could never hate him because I don't know him. You know what I'm saying? I don't know
Right.
him that well. He
Right.
can never get that far in my brain or in my heart for me to have that sort of strong emotion about somebody who's a stranger with no face. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's good you said that, because I thought you just hated the man.
No, I just don't. I don't
'Cause you-
like how he moves. And like, let's contrast that with something with somebody like Jason. He likes to bring up Jason a lot, right?
right.
Jason also did something towards me before, but he had no idea that I was a separate person from Sir King, and I have to own some of that responsibility for that, because at
Right.
one time, we egged that on. We egged that whole confusion on with everybody because they were doing all this nonsense. So we were egging that on. But one thing about Jason, and I bring this up, Jason, me and him actually had a whole conversation where he apologized.
I remember
He
that. Yep.
he apologized, and me and Jason actually had a phone call where we looked each other. It was like a FaceTime type of thing, and we actually talk about different things. You know what I'm saying? We actually talk about making money and stuff. Like, people have these issues with other people, and I tell them all the time, like, your issues with that person are your issues with that person. I don't carry your bones. You know what I'm saying? I would
Right.
never carry your bones. So when it's when I'm talking to somebody, we're talking about different things.
Right.
But
Not the beef system.
when other people hit me up about other people, they got this beef going on. So that's how you
Right.
know. That's how you know that there's something you shouldn't ever be involved in.
Right.
So I don't carry no bones. So
Well,
when Jason apologized, I let it go. You know what I'm saying? I was good. I'm good. Shoot.
yeah.
That's all I needed.
Yeah. And we got to learn how to let stuff go, because it's not you worry, you make yourself sick. Like you said, the other person have control. No, don't let them control you. Now, this man, Larry, we just heard. I want to go back to this. And we preach forgiveness, we preach love, but it's a different story when it happens to you. When I say you, I'm talking in general. You know, one of the things here that happened to him is he said she called his job, and he lost his job, his livelihood. And then there's some other things that happened. He was accused of touching it
Yeah.
and all. Yeah, I don't even want to go there, but yeah.
Right.
So he's taking some hard hits on here. And so that's why he's in that space right now. And YouTube
Yeah.
do it. If I see myself going down that road, being on YouTube, I'm gonna log off.
I think hate comes from a feeling of powerlessness. You know what I'm saying? Lack of control. Because if somebody does something to me, I'm pretty sure people know my reputation a little bit more than they think they do. They know I like Liam Neeson said, I have a very specific set of skills,
Right.
and like, I'm the type of person who will get revenge. You know what I'm saying? And I'll let them know I'm coming for that revenge, and it's never going to stop until I get that revenge.
But isn't that hate though? I know you say you don't hate no one, but isn't revenge hate?
No, it's eye for an eye. It's a lesson being taught. Like, some people think they can just really do things to you. You have to let them know. You have to let people know that there's a line you cross, and there's a toll you have to pay for that, or they're gonna keep doing stuff like that. And honestly, sometimes God might want to get them later on, but you got to tell God, hey, you get your turn. There's gonna be a little bit left, but
Yeah.
right now, I'm gonna have to make it hurt so that they understand that they can't play with me no more.
Right.
You
Okay.
know?
So I understand your point. Yeah, I got
Yeah, sometimes you have to do that,
you.
and it's not hate, it's just letting them know, like, where we stand is not the same. It's not the same level. We're not the same. It's me up here and you under my shoe.
Okay. Interesting point. Now, Miss Vivian say Pastor Nate is different when it happens to you, and that is so true. Like I say,
Hmm.
we preach love and forgiveness and different things. I would like to think that I would love and forgive if somebody harmed my family or caused me to lose my job. The thing about it is when they do it purposely and they trying to destroy it, that's where I have an issue. I would like to think I would forgive because that's what I preach, but you never know what you would do until you're in that situation. I would pray that I can depend on the strength of God to help me through that.
I mean, like, sometimes it does come from hate. Revenge comes from hate sometimes,
Yes, that's
but
what I feel too. Yeah.
but it requires time. It requires time for you to get your emotions out of it. You know what I'm saying? Like I always sit back and wait. You know what I'm saying, to see how I feel about it the next day. You know what I mean? And see what I can do to absolve myself of the issue. A lot of times, all this comes from pride and ego and stuff. And you dealing with black men who have a hard enough time out here, and you go out your way to try to hurt them, hurt a person. You know what I'm saying? You got to get some of that back. You know what I'm saying? I don't really understand how some people just, I'm gonna do this to somebody, then I'm gonna go home, go to sleep, and it's gonna be all good. And I'm a good person. No, no, and I feel like you got to get that back in spades. Like I feel like if you try to hurt somebody's livelihood purposely, like you call somebody's house up, or especially if you're doing this to a black man, you put some sort of jacket on them about he's this type of predator or something. I think you should be destroyed tenfold. I really do. I think everything around you should hurt you, your kids, your grandparents, everything, your job. I think it should hurt to the point that you don't recover for years, if ever. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm serious. I'm so serious.
And that's not hate.
It's not hate. It's just that you
Oh
did
Lord.
something. You expect not to get anything back. No, that's not how this works. That's not how this works. Let I put it this way: when you're in a boxing match, you don't go in there thinking I'm not going to get hit. I'm just going to swing and I'm going to wail on this guy. No, you prepare to get hit back. Why do you think you can hit somebody? They're not going to hit you back. When you were a kid, you went home crying. You get stolen on. What your parents do? What your big brother do? No, you go back out there. You hit that person. I'm gonna hit you.
Yeah.
So you gotta keep with it, yo. You gotta keep with it. I mean, but I don't do the I don't want people to do the whole back and forth thing. I think that's a waste of time, waste of energy. I think you have to fortify yourself first, and then understand that when you get into these situations, that people are gonna hit you. But when you hit back or when you hit first, you gotta hit them so hard that they're gonna feel it. You know,
I got you.
a year or two later.
Thank you for that, Zil. That's very interesting. Miss Vivian, welcome. How are you doing tonight? I, I'm good. You're very low. You turn? You're very low. Can you hear Zills?
Oh, I could barely hear.
Yeah, you're very low.
Is that better?
There you go. That's
Yeah,
better.
yeah, yeah.
So, what say you on the matter? We're talking about hate, a very strong emotion tonight.
Well, I think hate is a strong emotion. I think it can be a strong emotion.
I can't hear.
Yeah, we can't hear you. You
You can't hear me. Can you hear me now?
barely,
Okay, let me see. Is that better?
barely. You just a little louder.
That better?
Yeah,
About
can you push it up a little more?
is that better?
We can deal with that.
What about now?
There you
Let me
go.
move.
There you go. Right there.
Let me move the mic closer to me.
Okay,
There you
okay.
go.
All
All
right.
right. So what I was gonna say is, hate is uh, a strong emotion,
Mm-hmm.
and it can be bad for you. I think, depending upon how you use
Mm-hmm.
it, and hate when you hate to the point that you want to get revenge on a person, what I see in that is that that person does have control over
Mm-hmm.
you because that person has drugged you to the point of, yeah, I'm about to take this matter into my own hands and handle it myself. if that makes any sense.
Right. So yeah, I got you. So let me ask you this here. Now I won't bring it on and throw salt, on old wounds, but that situation you had with that other YouTuber, did you feel hate during that time when you had to lash back? You
Wait
did.
a minute,
But
which
you let it
one?
go.
Well, I've had three situations. Two
Yeah,
of
you
them
had.
I did lash out on two of the
Yeah, I'm talking
situations.
about the man over there in California. Yeah.
The man over in California, um, I let it go because I came to my senses and I was like, look, Viv, you're not gonna put no money in a plane ticket to go out there and you know, put your hands on people.
Yeah.
And I understand with me that I can't put myself in certain situations and in certain spaces because I understand that with me. Okay, so like Brother Zill said, you know, like he has a certain set of circumstance, skills, like Liam Neeson says. I told a story yesterday on my channel about I'm petty McPetty, and I can be the pettiest of the petty. And when my mind starts to go with revenge, it's not a good situation because what I start doing is they say the idle mind is the devil's workshop.
Hmm.
Yeah. So that is where I am. So that's why I don't allow the seed of revenge and hate to take place in my heart, or I try not to, because I'll come outside of myself and I'll do things that's not befitting to God, to me, to
Hmm.
my parents. It's totally outside of myself. So to make myself not end up in a situation where I'll get in trouble, I have to let revenge go, which means I have to let the seed of hate go, and I just have to just let whatever happens happen. I have to allow God to handle it.
Yeah.
I kind of laugh. I say God has a sense of humor because I think about, I always say I think about the story of Ananias and Sapphira.
Right.
You know what I'm talking about? Where
How
they
they
came in
lied.
and lied
Oh
and
yeah.
they dropped dead
Hmm.
and they just got rolled up in the rug and moved out to the edge of the.
Right.
I always say God got a sense of humor. And I always say, God, I'm glad that we don't still have to go through that because it's a whole lot of times I'd be rolled up in a rug out at the gates.
Hmm.
So
Yeah. I mean, you've taken some pretty hard hits over the last few months on YouTube. Um, but God brought you through it, and I guess you let him handle it and you're at peace about all this stuff.
I
Um,
am.
I
I
wish
am.
everybody else was like that. But everybody's got to put their little 2 cents in, and they won't let God handle it.
Well, my whole
No,
thing is,
no,
Let him
my
handle
other
it,
thing
Mister
is,
Zilts.
no, no. He can look. I always say God can have him after I'm done with him. You know,
but you
that's
know
that's how I
what?
say.
I find out a lot of times that God handles them a lot better than I can.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's about better for me. It's more like it's cathartic for me. Plus, I like sending the message that I'm not one to be played with by anybody. You know what I'm saying? Like people can talk. Let people talk. They can talk all they want to, but if you do something that's going to affect me, you got to understand something's going to happen to you, and it's not going to be pretty. It's not going to be pretty, and I'm gonna make sure it happens.
So
You
Well,
you
know.
the
like
thing
making an
is,
example.
Oh, yeah, exactly. You gotta make an example out of people. You have to because people get bold. They get. Hold on. I got a reminder on on Alexa.
Oh boy.
But yeah, I like sending the message. You know what I'm saying? Do not mess with me because I'm not the one to be tested like this. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not gonna wait for God. You know, God got enough to deal with. I can handle this. Now, if he wants a piece of it, you know, we can tag team and he can get the leftovers. But I'm gonna smash this individual into itty bitty pieces.
But then if you smash that person into itty bitty pieces, it could put you in a situation to where now um you have to figure out how you're going to get yourself out of that trick bag. If
That's
you
if I get
understand what I'm
caught.
saying.
That's if I get caught.
So
But
that
I'm strategic enough and I'm calm enough to plan it out, and I'm patient enough too. Like I don't have to do it tomorrow. I'm gonna do it when somebody's not looking for it. You know what I'm saying? They might be having the greatest week of their life, and here I go. Here I come in. Okay, now it's time. Now it's
I'm
time to
going to
ruin
tell
your
you
life.
this though.
You know,
I'm
and
going
they
to
don't
tell you
forgot all about me.
it
It's been
just
three
takes
three years or something. You know what I'm saying? And then
Hmm.
I'll never say it. I'll never say here I come. It's just gonna happen. And when
Just
you find
unexpected.
out this person is missing or something like that, or their leg got cut off, you're like, oh zills, and then I might put up an emoji. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like
but the
smirk face or
thing
something.
is that takes out too much energy. It takes too much
No,
energy.
no, no, no. It's
Yeah,
no.
it's a,
It's
okay, I'm going to say it like this. For me, I refuse to give anybody that much energy and time and power. I've given you enough power when I
Romans.
milled it over and felt some type
Okay.
of way. Um, but yeah, and Romans, I used to have that type of situation where I would be.
Right, Bryce.
That's why I have to be very cognizant of when I tell people if I didn't see it, I didn't hear it, it didn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
I have to be cognizant of I have to choose to be happy, and then I also have to be cognizant of you can't always be petty McPetty because you guys, I'm gonna tell you, my dad has seen my petty side to where he made me to the point he had me so upset that we didn't talk for 2 years.
And see, I can't see that from you.
And you know how close my dad and I are.
Yeah.
My dad and I are super close. But my dad did something that hurt my feelings and we didn't talk for 2 years.
Wow.
Well, he tried to talk to me, but I was like, you don't exist. And
You
I'm
were
gonna
you
tell
just
you,
agitated with them? Was it moving into the level of hate? Uh-oh.
I am not gonna say I hated him. What I am gonna say is I was hurt by him.
You were hurt. Okay.
And I was hurt to the point, and I think hate is also a form of hurt. Because I think if you gotta hate somebody, they've hurt you in such a way that you can't deal with that emotion.
Yeah.
And my dad had really hurt my feelings. And it got to the point where I was like, all right, I got something for you. I just won't talk to you. That hurt him more than me doing anything else, if you get
Right.
what I'm saying.
And I think we change over time. I think we deal with challenges as we grow and mature in Christ. Just like Romans 8 said here, right? That was how I was in the past. I'd fly, but I'm no longer like that. I'm now older and really trying to live right. I think we mature and we learn how to deal with things. I think God makes a difference. When we were younger, we were all mostly hot-headed. You know, you look at me wrong, you say something wrong, I'm ready to pop off, right? But as we get older, we realize, hey, we got much to lose now. Like you just said, you just respond to zills. If I get involved and respond back like that, then that's going to put me in a situation. I ain't trying to go to prison. Of
And I
course, he
have
said he was
witnessed it.
Mm.
strategic, but
Yeah, I don't think about prison. You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, like, if you plan it right, you'll never go to prison. It's only bad if you get caught. You know.
Mm.
That's how I
And
look
I
at it.
can
But
say in the past,
God is
I've
looking.
had situations where God has really had to step in and touch me. I honestly, when I sit back and reflect, I know it's but God that I'm still around because there's been situations I've been in. I really should have been dead by
Mm.
the hands of somebody else because of
Yeah.
situations and
Yeah.
me deciding that I wanted to be judge, jury, and executioner.
Mm.
And that's why I say I know that I am in a seriously different space now. I had to go and lay on the couch for some of it, but I am
Yeah.
in a
I mean,
seriously different space now because it was a time with this last situation that happened with me passing Nate.
oh
It
yeah.
was a time that I would have been like, y'all would have been seeing me on YouTube every day. Y'all would have been like, oh, look at Vivian. She feeling so good. And then some situations would have happened and they would have said, oh, Vivian did it. Well, no, Vivian couldn't have did it because Vivian was at her house on YouTube.
Wow. Yeah. And
But
Bright
I
Star,
know,
that's kind of what I was talking about. I think it takes some growth, Bright Star. Eventually, we'd all get what that scripture saying right there, getting rid of bitterness, rage, and anger. So, I mean, I can tell an angry person. I mean, look at them on the highway, how they drive, quick tempered. A
and
lot of
past the
people
date,
dealing with
past the date, I called. I was like, yeah, I need some prayer. Just ask God for some.
it. I'd get a few calls during the week from different ones.
I mean, I was like, just ask God to bridle my tongue.
Yeah, yeah.
So I mean, we all need prayer, and we all are in a state of where we are work in progress. If
Hmm.
that makes any sense, we're a work in progress.
Yeah.
So
So Zilts, to your point, you saying you making an example of all of them. So with you responding in that manner,
Mhm.
don't they have a level of power over you in order to get you to respond like that?
No,
Coming from
absolutely
their
not. Absolutely not. Because like I think we conflate a lot of issues sometimes, and like if you respond in an emotional manner, sure, yeah, yeah, they have a power over you, and vengeance is not always hate, but sometimes you have to let people know because people aren't always believing what you believe in. You know what I'm saying? They don't go by the same code you go by. But there's two things that people really understand, no matter what, and this is universal, and that's money and violence. And sometimes you have to get violent with people you're communicating with them at their level, but I mean in the language that they understand, but not necessarily at their level. You have to be to the point whereas they won't ever try this mess with you ever again. And that's just how it be sometimes. You know what I'm saying? And I'm all about that. I'm all about that.
so
And it,
yeah, yeah, I get what you're saying. Look, let me go ahead and handle this like this right now, so this won't happen again. But
yeah,
now people make
exactly.
mistakes now, so
Just think about like this: when you do something and when you was a kid, your parents whooped you. Did they hate you? Was that vengeance? You know what I'm saying? What was that? There was a lesson being taught that if you do this again, it's going to cause you some pain, and that's sometimes you have to reinforce that. Sometimes you have to let these grown people know you stepped across the line. Now you got to get whooped.
so you're taking on the parent method. They acting like a child, you're gonna treat them like a child.
I'm taking on
You're gonna
the
whip that butt.
parent. I'm their parent, guardian, judge, jury, executioner, God, whatever. They gonna get it. That's how it's gonna be. It's just I don't play all these games with these people, man. And like I'm not gonna go back to God to ask him for my forgiveness. Y'all better pray for that person. You know what I'm saying? Y'all better pray for where I'm gonna aim at
Yeah,
because they gonna have to get it.
yeah.
That's just how it's gonna go. Look, you gotta let people know not to mess with you, and your God ain't gonna tell them that he's gonna do something, but it's not gonna be in their mind. Like you know what, I shouldn't have messed with Pastor Nate. You know they ain't gonna do that.
Mm.
So
Well, I
I was
think
gonna
it
ask
would
say
save. Go ahead, Miss Vivian. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
oh, I was gonna say Bright Star said I feel defeated when anger and hate sneak into my life. Um, I don't feel defeated when anger and hate sneaks into my life because I understand it's part of the human experience, but I do have to walk daily and pray and do daily prayer and ask God to do some things in my life to make me act better.
Yeah,
Do
we
I
don't want
like
to act it
hate?
out.
Yeah, I just don't want to act out on it. I figure if I get mad or if I get mad, I I understand if I get mad that it's part of human nature. But my thing is, the Bible tells us, that we can get mad, but we're not supposed to like sin with
Anger
it.
with sin
You know
not.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, um, I figured God knew we were gonna get mad, and it's just the way we handle it. I think getting mad and the way we handle it shows our um spiritual maturity, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Bright Star, that was one of my scriptures I hadn't got to yet. I might have to get to it next week because it does have the word hate in it. And I want to talk about hate from different perspectives in the word because they don't always mean the same in different instances. So, yeah, I think it's a natural emotion that we deal with. And I don't think when it comes in, it's wrong. But I think when you let it sit there and fester, because thoughts come through, evil thoughts come through. But when you entertain it, I think that's when it becomes a problem because eventually I feel like we'll act on it if it's there too long. Right. So as soon as
And
it comes in, just let it be like a revolving door. Let it come in and get out like one ear out the other. Just get it out. Don't let it sit there.
that's true, Pastor Nate. You can't dwell in that place because when you dwell in that place, you become bitter.
Right.
You shorten your life. You cut off your own blessings for real.
Yeah. And people are going to hate us just because who you are, you know. Uh, People gonna hate you because you got dark skin or you got light skin or you tall, you short, or whatever. I mean, there are crazy reasons people hate people, just like there are different reasons people are prejudiced against each other, you know, for whatever reason. And it's sometimes, like I said earlier, it's how God made you. You can't help how you look or who you are. You know, sometimes people are jealous of you because they're not where you are, they're insecure. So the only thing they can resort to is hate. And you wonder why a person got a
There's
problem with you.
some
Mhm.
people that hate you and you don't even know why they hate you.
I know. I'm
And they
like,
don't and they don't know why they hate you. They just
yeah,
hate you.
yeah, exactly. You hadn't even had a conversation. Maybe you going by what somebody else saying, or maybe how I look, my gesture, what you think I am. I mean, you hadn't even had a conversation with me. That's not a fair thing.
I love those. I love those because those are the ones I egg on. You know what I'm saying? If I find somebody feels strongly about me, and especially if I had done nothing directly to them, I'm gonna egg that on because I don't feel nothing for that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna keep making them feel that way. I'm gonna keep pressing the button, whatever button they got. I'm gonna keep pressing it to see how far it goes.
Mm, okay, so you're gonna spearhead that. How
Uh,
they?
I mean, like I'm gonna make them confront their hatred. Like, why do you feel this way? Yeah, I mean, I don't care. You feel this way. I honestly feel like some hate is actually love. You know what I'm saying? Like you feel that strongly about me, and I've done nothing to you. Okay, well,
Yeah,
let's go with that. Don't change. Don't change. Just go with that.
I
You
was gonna
know?
get to that, and we might continue that next week. Some hate might be what you say love. I won't call it love, but I'll say lust.
Yeah.
Because you know, growing up, maybe we were guilty of that. We hated somebody because we wanted them,
Oh
or they
nah,
wanted us.
nah.
They
All right.
couldn't get it.
Mm-mm.
They couldn't get a hold to you, so you couldn't
Mm-mm.
stand it. That's that tension.
That's that. You ever seen that show called You on Netflix? That's one of those types.
Yeah. Oh boy. So
I
I
like
think we
Zil.
dealing with
He makes me laugh.
yeah.
He
And
makes me
there's a
laugh.
scripture in the Bible. I'll talk about that next week where Tamar and Amnon had that same issue. He hated it. You know, he loved her. It was lust. But after he got what he wanted, then he treated her like trash. A lot of people like that. But I think when we're dealing with people with the hate situation, in order for us not to get to that point, I think there are signs there. And we give people too much of the benefit of the doubt and too many chances. When we need to nip it in the bud, then I think we can prevent certain situations. So if you see the person you befriend and being hateful to someone else, I would like to think, I don't think I'm so special that they're not going to do that to me.
Yep.
Because eventually, mad day is coming for me, I feel.
Mad day.
So when I
Mad day
see those,
cometh.
yeah. So when I see those behaviors being displayed, I think we need to kind of be mindful or take action right there. So, you won't find yourself in a position. I mean, I don't know
Absolutely.
what y'all think about that.
Absolutely.
Because I know, I mean, Miss Vivian from experience, well, anyways, yeah.
I had mad day. I had somebody
Okay.
that had mad
Yeah,
day on
yeah,
me.
I didn't want to go there, but yeah.
I had
There's all
somebody that
there's
had
always a mad
mad day
day.
on me. It was so mad. I was like, woo. But then
Yeah.
again, you have to realize that even in even even in that day of mad day,
Mhm.
and I have to think about my character also.
Yeah.
Even in my day of mad day, I would never disclose anything personal that you gave to me because I told you I loved you as a sister, a brother. Um, that's why I think that a lot of people come to me with different situations here
Hmm.
because of the simple fact of the matter. I am not the one that be on here talking about, yeah, you did this, and I got this receipt. Hold on, let me pull out this phone call. Now, don't get me wrong. I keep my text messages and my emails, but you don't see me on here saying, hold on, let me show you everything that this person has said
Right.
to me.
You don't do
Because,
that and you don't want to, but eventually if that person keeps on over and on, let's just say they go on and on and on, will you not pull a receipt out if they to get them off you if they keep on?
um, my mom and dad, and the Bible speaks to this, you don't let your left hand know what your right hand doing. So some things you got to play close to your, your, some cards you got to play close to your chest. But I will say this: I'm not going to be one to be out there to be like, oh, I'm about to get this type of revenge. But how brother Jay says it, if it gets to the point where somebody's bothering me that much, I feel the law is for the lawless.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't have to handle everything, you know. I just have to remember that I got to operate within the realms of certain parameters.
Right. Yeah. Um, yeah, it's a serious issue. Um, there's more to it. We'll continue the conversation. I appreciate you coming up tonight, Miss Vivian Zilts, as always.
No, I appreciate you. I
No
appreciate
problem.
you, and I'm gonna let Dad listen at this because my daddy, my daddy,
You gonna let him listen to the one,
and
the part where you were mad at him for 2 years or hurt?
oh, he already know, and
Oh, okay.
Brother Zeal, my dad talked about you too. My dad was talking to y'all last week like he was up here on the panel with y'all.
Zills, I tell you, you come with a different perspective. Some of my church members be like, "Who's that guy?" Like, I'm like, "Hey, it's we have conversation. We have to learn how to have conversation when we don't agree." A lot of the church people want you to always agree with them. They
Yeah,
can't have a conversation if you don't say what they think like them.
yeah, I want people to understand. Like, I I push against what the hive mind at all times, because at some point the hive mind is wrong. You know what I'm saying? So I have to do what's good for me. You know what I mean? And it's, every the advice that everybody has is just not always good for me. You know what I'm saying? So it's all good. It's all good. However you handle your things, I'm not mad at that at all.
Yeah.
So I just want y'all to understand that, if you cross me, just understand I hit back. And I hit hard. I
Yeah.
don't do
Still
receipts. I
is
don't do
a
that stuff. You know what I'm saying? I don't go to back and forth and stuff. I come with the plan to hurt you really bad in real life.
So when we're talking
still
about the
is a
ways of God,
necessary evil though. He's a necessary person. And I say that because he makes you think outside of the box
oh
and
yeah,
he
most definitely.
challenges the uh the everyday, you know, rule or mind, which is a
So
good
are
thing.
you?
And
Maybe
I
he's God.
appreciate him for that.
Maybe he's God's hit man.
I wish that would be a great job.
Maybe God uses him for the wrath part.
Honestly, like when I was a kid, like my first what I wanted my job to be was either a doctor or a hitman, one of those. So it's interesting you said that. Very interesting.
Hmm. That's interesting. But yes, his views are different when we're talking about matters of the heart, love and forgiveness and things of that nature. It's going to be different. It's an interesting point. A lot of times I feel like that's not the way of the Lord. But like you say, people got to deal with the way they deal with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm more of a let God handle it. You breaking my house, then I'll go ahead and do what I need to do. But other than that,
I
if
I
I'm not in a
I,
situation.
I actually find, like, the Bible has a lot of great advice, but I find that in real world application it hinders me. You know what I'm saying, from doing what I have to do sometimes. And so, I pray that God understands that, when I destroy this person that He created, it was either me or this person, because I come from a different environment too. You know what I'm saying, and sometimes it was me versus this person.
Yeah.
So, it is what it is.
Yeah.
You know what, Pastor Nate, I just thought about? You know,
What?
my dad always talked about we're God's hands and we're God's feet because,
Mm-hmm.
you know, if you need some food, God is not necessarily going to bring you the groceries, but somebody's going to deliver the groceries to you, and they're being God's hands and feet. Maybe that's what He's being, God's hands and feet at that time for the right.
Mm. Wow.
I
Hey,
mean, because if a person
I
gets killed,
I couldn't hear that.
unless they did you heard me right, Pastor Nate?
I heard you a little bit. You were going in and out, but
Okay, what I
okay,
said
now I can hear
was
you.
what I said was, you know, my dad always says that God has no hands or feet, and like if a
Right.
person needs groceries, somebody's going to bring the groceries to your house. God is not going to necessarily deliver them. You're going to
He's
get
using
them
that
by
person.
somebody else, right? So maybe he's using Zell as the hitman, as the rat.
Well, the Bible says, not saying you're foolish, but the Bible says he uses the foolish thing to confound the wise, right? So we can't tie God down in the box and say how he gonna use a situation or use a person. He's God. He does what he wants to do. So hey, he might be using him for that. I don't know. As ironic as that sounds, I can't believe I would say something like that, but God has weird ways.
Just know that, like, I want people to understand that we don't know God's ways, but you also don't know the other person's ways. And
Mm,
however you want to, let it slide by or something, the next person might want to take it to a whole nother level that you're praying for, praying on God to handle, and it might not be in time. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying, like, you got to be careful about things and you have to be prepared. That's all.
yeah, I see.
All
I
right,
got
Pastor
you.
Nate, I'm dropping down. Thank you guys
Thank
for
you.
having
Yeah,
me up here.
well,
You
thank you for
guys
coming
have a
by.
blessed one.
All right, you too.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah, it's whoa, we went over 15 minutes, didn't we? Wow. Thank you, Miss Vivian. All right, guys. Thank you for hanging out. I know we went over a few minutes. Some of you had to leave. I want to thank you for coming by tonight. We were talking about hatred and how people deal with it and what the Bible says about it. We may do part 2 next week. I don't know, because I still hadn't got through it. And I'm not sure if I'll be on next week. I will certainly let you know. I'm trying to wrap up this little project, y'all. So I'm still kind of in and out. I'm not posting every morning, but I do post a couple mornings through the week now. I'm gonna try to put something out there. But again, thank you for coming out tonight as we dissect this negative emotion of hate. I pray that you all are blessed. You have a blessed weekend. In the meantime, in between time, be at peace and not in pieces. This is where we reason together, a place where you can feel much better. If you're hungry for the word, you'll be fed, you'll be encouraged. Be at peace and